Hey guys, it's JaaackJack and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I am going to be talking about makeup brushes, specifically for your eyes. So this is actually the second video in my two-part series talking about makeup brushes. If you missed my previous video, I'll leave it linked in the cards. There I talk about the top 5 essential must-have eyeshadow brushes. So if you missed that, go check it out. That one is like the educational video where I break it down, like why I use each brush and what brushes I recommend. In this video, I'm actually going to show you the brushes doing its thing. So this is the tutorial part. So I hope you enjoy, but again, if you want more detailed information about the essential must-have eyeshadow brushes, definitely check out my last video. Eee! I'm excited. I'm going to show you guys an eyeshadow look while sharing with you guys my favorite staple essential eyeshadow brushes. That make sense? Sound good? Sound good? So for the eyeshadows today, I'm actually going to use the new Covergirl Full Spectrum palette in Posh. So it looks like this. Has a bunch of neutrals, but there's like some pinky colors in there, and I felt like it kind of went with my flower crown, so this is what we're going to use today. And I always start out with the fluffy brush first. I'm going to take this color right here and go ahead and blend that in to my crease to act as my transition color. So I'm just going back and forth with windshield wiper motions, and the brush will kind of just do the rest. It'll apply the color and it'll diffuse it as needed. I'll try to go slow so you can see how the brush is covering a lot of space on my eyelid because of how fluffy it is. So I know that was really subtle, but we have like this wash of color that's all over this area of our eyelid. Now we're going to move into our standard blending brush, which looks like this. And I'm going to take a color that's just a little bit darker. And then again, with windshield wiper motions, I'm just going to work this in the crease. But if I slow down, you can see how it's covering less area on my eyelid, so it's concentrating that color just right there in the crease. See how we have that slight definition? But because of the flexibility of the blending brush, it's still going to soften and diffuse the color where needed, but it concentrates the color just right there in the crease. Again, I'll show you guys kind of going slower on this side, how it's just kind of staying in that pocket of my natural crease in my eye. And I'm just going back and forth with windshield wiper motions, and it's blending it out so nicely, but adding the definition where needed. Another thing you can do with the standard blending brush that I love is take an even darker color. I'm gonna go with this guy right here. And you can actually just place this on the outer corner of the eye. So a standard blending brush does a very great job at still packing on color, but blending it so it's nice and soft and diffused. Whereas with the fluffy blending brush, you can't really pack on a color the way you can with this. So sometimes I'll just like place the color down right here on the outer corner of my eye, and then use that same kind of windshield wiper motions, but a little like shorter. So basically like short windshield wiper motions to just go in and blend the color. So that way it's just kind of focused on the outer part of our eye, so it gives it a little bit more of a sultry look. You can apply these techniques to literally any eyeshadow look that you're doing, any colors that you want to use. This just happens to be the example that I'm working with today. So again, I'm just packing the color down like that, and then doing short little blending motions like this. If you ever feel like you need to blend the edges of your eyeshadow a little bit more, always go back to your fluffy blending brush, because that's what's going to diffuse the color the best. So just take your brush and just blend it right along the edges of your eyeshadow until you feel like it's soft enough and it has that gradient and there's no harsh lines to your eyeshadow look. Next, we're gonna take our flat shader brush. Again, this one from Tarte is my favorite. I just love the shape of it. It fits the shape of my eye so perfectly. Sometimes you're just gonna have to try out different brushes to see what works for your best eye shape, because we all have different eye shapes, and I have kind of smaller eyes, and this just works so perfectly. It fits my eyelid like a charm. So I think I'm gonna take this light shade right here, and I'm going to sweep this across the eyelid. So because of the shape and density of this brush, we're able to pack on the color in this very specific area of the eye. So we're able to just place that right on there. And flat shader brushes aren't typically the best to like blend colors out, so I would always go back with my fluffy brush to go around the edges to make sure it's nice and blended. And it does a nice job at like evenly applying the color all across the eyelid. Whereas if you were to use, for example, the fluffy shader brush to do the same thing, it wouldn't apply the color as evenly across the eyelid. It would be a little more kind of, in a way, splotchy because it's so much fluffier. That's why using a brush like this is perfect for the eyelid. And again, just blending out the edges with my fluffy brush. Next, we're moving into the pencil brush. Again, I love using this to apply color on the lower lash line, so I think I'm going to take this brown right here, the same brown we used on the outer corner of the eye. And because this brush is just nice and small and dainty, you can get right up where your lashes are. And it's not going to trail the color down so low and like give you this heavy raccoon look. Because it's so small, it'll give you the precision you need to just get a little bit of color right where you want it. See the definition that added, like versus this eye? Again, it's not heavy, I don't have that raccoon eye look, and it's because we use such a tiny detailed pencil brush. So I'm just gonna do the same thing over here. And last but not least, we have the fluffy shader brush. So I'm gonna use the one from Sonia Kashuk for this. There really isn't a color in here that's perfect for highlighting the brow bone, so let me get a different palette. I'm gonna take another one of the Covergirl Full Spectrum So Saturated eyeshadow palettes. This one is in Reverence. Again, has like these beautiful neutrals, but I'm going to take the lightest shade in here with my fluffy shader brush. And we're going to sweep this on the brow bone area. So it applies the color there, but because it's fluffy and it doesn't have like the shorter hairs as the flat shader brush, it's going to apply the color really nice and softly right under the brow bone, which is perfect because I don't want it to be blinding right there. I want it to look very natural. So I'm just sweeping that right under the brow bone. And you can use the same brush or even your pencil brush, whatever you prefer, but gonna apply that onto the inner corner of the eye, like the inner tear duct area. And there is our eyeshadow look. So that is it for this video. I hope you guys found it helpful. If you agree that these are the 5 like must-have brushes for eyeshadow, let me know in the comments. Or if you have a completely different set of essential brushes you use for eyeshadow, please let me know in the comments because I would love to hear what is like your go-to for your eyeshadow looks. Like what's your routine with your makeup and your staples. But if you came across this video looking for some new information on how to pick out eyeshadow brushes, I hope that this video was helpful. Again, I will try to leave links to as many brushes as I can in the description box for you guys. All the brushes I talked about, I'm gonna try to find the exact links if I can. So definitely check that out for links and all that kind of stuff. And if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you do, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!